Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I pretty much get this question all the time. How did I get the username Fatal? And I ran a Twitter poll to see which mini doc you guys wanted next, and this one was far and away the winner. So without further ado, let's find out. So it's no secret that Minecraft Java is a really popular game. It sold 30 million copies, which means there are 30 million accounts with unique usernames. And this is because Minecraft is a one account, one name game. Unlike, for example, Discord, which can have 10,000 people with the same name. Over the years, since Minecraft has continued to become more and more popular and eventually developed into the most popular game ever, a community developed around OG usernames on Minecraft Java due to their relative rarity. Now, to talk a little bit more about OG usernames, I'm definitely not like the authoritative source on this. There are definitely other channels that know more, are like deeper into the community, because honestly, I'm like not really friends with a whole lot of OGs. But to just give a brief overview so you understand what's going on, essentially an OG username is a word, whether that be a noun, verb, or adjective, commonly used in the English language. Now, sometimes OG usernames can be considered OG if they are in another language, for example, hola, bonjour, but generally it's English words that are considered OG. Then there is a secondary community referred to as semi-OGs. These usually add the -is, -ity, or -er. So if you're thinking about like the OG username great, according to this rule, greater would be considered semi-OG, but I'll get into that in a second. So what is considered and what is not an OG username? So for me, Fatal is a username. My previous username, xfatalflames, is not. But the line is a little bit blurry. Of course, there's no person who sets all the rules. It's all sort of what the community thinks. And so when we take that previous example of great, so great is obviously an OG username. But the question comes up, is greater an OG username or semi-OG username? Because usually we use the rule of adding that -er to denote a semi-OG, but greater is a common word and is probably utilized more than the word great. So if anything, if you're going by how popular a word is, greater might actually be considered more OG than the actual word great. So it is kind of a blurry line that honestly, like the answer you'll get is great, greater, sort of how those fall. That'll change person to person, you know, in the community, because everyone sort of has their own working definition of what an OG is. But overall, you kind of get the picture of what an OG username will look like. And at some point, against Mojang's rules, accounts started to trade hands. Of course, when Minecraft was less popular, OG usernames weren't as rare to see and weren't as valuable. And much earlier in the game's history, you weren't even allowed to change your username, so it was pretty much impossible for accounts to trade hands in the first place. There is also another tier of the community that includes the capes that you can get from Minecon. This is sort of another aspect that's considered like additional to an OG, but just having a Minecon cape does not make you an OG. It really just increases the value of an OG account. And speaking of value, so prices for OG accounts have reached astronomical levels, especially if they have rare capes from 2012 or 2011. Some accounts now have asking prices of over $10,000, and there are documented sales of around $8,000, which is completely insane considering you're purchasing like 5, 6, or 7 letters on a game, but that is how it be. But I am going to link IGN Chucky. He has a really great channel that has a lot of content related to the OG community. So if this video interests you, or if you just want to learn more about the OG community, check him out because he has a lot of good content on this. Now, as for me, sort of how I came into owning an OG account. So I feel like I'm a broken disc saying this all the time. So I bought Minecraft in 2012. I've had the game for 8 years now, which is actually crazy. I can't think of a single game that I've played for 8 years. But originally my username was xfatalflames. Now, where that username sort of comes from, or the story behind that is I used to be, a long time ago, when I was much younger, I was a part of an Xbox Live clan centered around Call of Duty. And the X in front of all of our names was sort of like how when you sign, if you've ever signed for something before, it has that little X and then the line where you obviously put your signature. So that was to denote like the start of a signature. And then we all had Fatal. We were the Fatal's clan. And then all of us had a word after Fatal of something that could kill you. So for example, Fatal Longshot, Fatal Flames, Fatal Sniper were all members of that Xbox Live clan. Whenever I purchased Minecraft, I used that pseudonym just because I'm not very creative, couldn't think of much else, so I just kind of used my Xbox Live name as my Minecraft name. And then from 2012 to 2015, I was just colloquially referred to as Fatal for short because X Fatal Flames is sort of a mouthful. So it sort of became my Minecraft identity just by people always calling me that. And then in 2015, actually January of 2015, Mojang announced, in the near future, you will be able to change your Minecraft in-game name. We will be freeing up all those old unpaid usernames when the new name changing feature is released. Now back then, people really didn't care too much about OG names. At least I had never really heard about a community centered around OGs back in like 5 years ago. Minecraft was a lot smaller at that time, especially on Java. It just wasn't as big of a deal. Now the original unpaid account that had Fatal as the username hadn't been active since 2010, so I figured that I could probably snipe it fairly easily. The name changing feature went live on February 4th, 2015, and if you waited up till early in the AM, you could snipe a lot of OG names. Now, of course, Mojang didn't announce a time that you could just log on and change your name, but a lot of us figured that if you stayed up late that you could catch it right when it flipped at like midnight or 2 o'clock depending on what time zone Mojang's corporate offices were in. And I ended up doing exactly that. And when I logged on, I think it was like 2 in the morning at my time zone when all of this went live. So it was probably midnight in the East Coast or something like that when all of this happened. But I actually hadn't settled on the shortening of my name until probably like right when I was typing, like seeing what users' names were available. And there were like a lot of these names available at the time. Some you can't even imagine. Some of these accounts are probably worth thousands of dollars today, like Death, Reaper, etc. But ultimately, I decided on keeping Fatal just because that's what I had been going on for 3 years. There had been a lot of people that I had met, a lot of friends that I had made, and I figured that I would just keep that name because that's what they had all been calling me. Then I also got a kind of funny, scandalous username for my alt, which in hindsight is pretty stupid because I could have copped so many good OG names with my alt, and the one that I have now is kind of worthless, but I'm gonna just keep that one a secret because it's kind of stupid but also kind of funny. So if any of you can figure that out, it's worth it. This was also around the time that I took a long break from Minecraft. So the last time that I really like got into Minecraft heavily was 2015 before taking a long break pretty much until 2019, 2020. But now when you fast forward from 2015 to 2020, suddenly I'm getting unvetted offers from all these different people in my email, on my personal accounts, asking if they can purchase my account. And actually 2 separate people have offered me $1,000 for the in-game name Fatal, but I have turned them down. And for anyone watching, my username is not for sale. It's definitely against Mojang's rules. We do not endorse that, right, guys? But like I said, Fatal, the dude in the zombie tux, has sort of become my Minecraft identity, I feel like. I haven't changed my skin since 2012. I've been going by the same thing since 2012. So it would honestly take a lot for me to ever part with that username. Now, a lot of people also ask sort of the follow-up question after how did you get that username? The follow-up question is almost always, what is it like having that username? And maybe someday I'll make a video just of a bunch of recordings of sort of like a day in the life of a Minecraft OG. But to say the least, it definitely has its ups and downs. People will ask you or say to you the strangest things, asking you to impregnate them, or just generally targeting you in literally every game, constantly, pretty much. It essentially just gets you a lot of attention wherever you go. Whenever people see your name, they always just want to be like, yo, what's up? And that's it. That's how I became the one and only Fatal on Minecraft, and how I've developed this sort of whole identity around the username. But definitely in the future, I will be making a video on my entire Minecraft story because there is more than just my username in it. But that is all for today. I will see you guys next week, but until then, enjoy your weekend, and of course, deuces.